Johnny Murray here, and welcome to a brand new video. Today we're going to be talking about Expedition 33. This is a game we've covered multiple times on the channel, and we've talked about multiple times on podcasts, and we've done some reactions to it. But this game was recently shown at the Xbox Developer Direct, and we've gotten a lot more gameplay, details, information. We've seen a lot more of what the game's going to offer in terms of story content, and just how it's shaping up, how it's looking, how is the execution possibly gonna be, right? We've seen a lot of this game, and genuinely, and we're gonna sound like a broken record on the channel because we've said it multiple times. This game looks super promising. This game looks super interesting. It looks super unique, different. It looks like it has so much potential. But the bottom line, and it comes down to the same bottom line as every other game, it just depends how it's executed, right? So we're going to talk about all that. We're going to get into my thoughts and impressions. We're going to be breaking down some of the things we saw during the Xbox Developer Direct. But yeah, if you guys love video games, consider subscribing, sharing with your friends. I really do appreciate all the support. It doesn't matter what you love. Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, third-party, PC, VR, indie, whatever it may be. Consider subscribing, share with your friends. I appreciate all support, especially the support on this video right here. But without further ado, let's talk about Expedition 33. Now, this is a game that I've said multiple times. I love what they're going for in terms of its gameplay. It is that turn-based / real-time action, right? So this is going to be that Persona where you choose your attack, you choose what kind of effects you want to do, you have items that you can use, but it's all in turn-based form. But they're doing a cool mixture in this game, which is kind of going to define its own genre in a way, if it does well, right? Of even though you are taking turns, during your turn, you have to aim, you have to dodge, you have to parry, you have to deflect in real time, right? This isn't just you select your thing and just watch an animation play out. No, you have to select your thing and then do something, right? So I really like that idea, and I think that can be really, really exciting, really, really unique, and really, really complex. That's something I think this gameplay and combat is going to have to prove, right? It's not just show and tell, right? You actually have to show and do in a way. I know it's a weird phrase to say, but like, if they can make it where every character feels super unique, if they can make it where every ability feels like you're adding a whole new element to that gameplay, right? And having that real-time and turn-based format to it, that could be really, really exciting. It'd be really, really fun. And I feel like that's a great way. I feel like a lot of complaints when it comes to some fans of turn-based is that things can get repetitive. I'm personally not that way. I love turn-based games. I think turn-based games are highly underrated. But I can see where some people don't like turn-based because they don't feel like they're doing enough, or they feel like it gets repetitive, or it's not engaging or interactive enough. This can help solve that for a lot of people, and I think that's really, really awesome. Now, this game was announced to be a Game Pass Day 1 edition, so if you have Game Pass, this is going to be Day 1 in it. Xbox has showcased this game in like all of their directs, events, whatever you want to call it. And so Xbox is heavily marketing this game, and that's like one thing that you have to take in mind is like, okay, yes, this is coming from a studio's first game, which is a bit of a concern. We're going to get to that later. But Xbox sees something in this game for that they're willing to market it way more. And one of my friends, Austin, compared it to, he's like, I really just hope this isn't another Flintlock, Siege of Dawn. I wasn't even making that comparison personally. Like, I didn't even think about it until he said it, because to me, this feels completely different. Flintlock is a known AA game that's coming from a studio that has made a lot of just like okay games in the past, right? And we kind of knew that was just going to be a mid-tier game. Like, it looked fun at the very least, but we weren't really expecting anything awesome. Whereas this game, it feels completely different. This is a AAA game. It is their first game of the studio. This is something Xbox is pushing in all of their events, all their marketing, right? I mean, they took one slot in the Developer Direct. That's a big deal. This is also a game where it's something completely unique, something completely different. And so to me, this is a whole different ball game than what we're looking at. This is a much bigger release, and so I do have hope there. The concern is that this is a studio's first game. Now, I don't think that should cause any red flags or anything, but it is something to take into consideration. This generation specifically, I feel like there have been a lot of games or a lot of studios that they've kind of created this stereotype. If we look at something like Black Myth Wukong, like Stellar Blade, right? If we look at stuff like that, there's kind of like, we need to come up with a term as a gaming community of a term for those kind of games, because there is kind of this like statement of, okay, this game is great. It does a lot of really great things well, but you can kind of feel the bare bonesness, or you can kind of feel places where it's underdeveloped. Therefore, this is a game where you just know the sequel is gonna go crazy, right? There's just those kind of games. I do see a world, a possibility, a reality where this is another one of those games. I don't know what we want to call those games, right? But this could feel like a game where I love the idea, I love the concept, it's super fun, it's super good, but there are a lot of issues it has, and there are a lot of things that they can improve on. Therefore, while I love what's here, the sequel is going to be stupid. Like, I feel like this has a very good chance at being another one of those games. And I feel like we've been getting those games at a more consistent rate because so many new studios are bringing up new ideas that are getting higher budgets. Phantom Blade Zero might be one of those. Lost Soul Side might be one of those. We need to come up as a collective unit, as a collective industry. What are those games called? Because it's just so interesting to see that there are so many games now where people are like, man, that game was awesome, I cannot wait for a sequel. And it's a new IP, it's a new thing, it's a new studio, right? So we'll kind of have to see how it plays out. But one thing that I just absolutely love about this game, and then we've said it multiple times, to me, this is the number one thing about this game that is going to make it stand out, or in a way, not stand out, going to make me love it, right? I'm pretty positive I'm at least going to enjoy the game just because of how fun the gameplay looks, and it's turn-based, real-time action combat. But to me, when I look at this game, when I watch all of its trailers, they are marketing, they are advertising, and they are pushing one aspect about this game above anything else, and I think they're pushing the right aspect, and that is its story. Because when you look at this game's story, it truly feels like a one-of-a-kind experience that is just going to absolutely hit if it does right. The concept of this story, we've said it multiple times. I'm going to reiterate for people who don't know. Basically, in this world, there is a clock tower, if you will. And there is a certain entity that controls this clock tower. On the clock tower, every year, a new number is chosen. Whatever number is chosen, everybody above that age will die that year. Therefore, every year they have sent groups of people, travelers, fighters, to go try and stop this entity, to go try and stop whatever is causing this thing to happen, because they don't want people to keep dying the way that they are, right? And it just happens this year, the number that was chosen is 33, and that they are sending what is called Expedition 33 to go try and stop whatever is happening. We've gotten a look at a lot of characters. The voice acting is kind of insane. We got Ben Starr. We have Charlie Cox, who is Daredevil. Like, what? Like, that's awesome. Some great names in the voice acting department. I love the concept, right? They've showed so many cutscenes. And the thing I love, in which they did a phenomenal job in the developer direct showing this, is that, okay, you have a great concept. How are you going to deliver on it? And when it comes to delivering on a story, it comes down to, are you emotionally invested? And what I loved about the developer direct, they focused on the characters. Characters are 100% the best part about almost every single story, right? You wouldn't have God of War without its characters. You won't have Uncharted without its characters. You don't have Halo without its characters. You don't have Gears of War without its characters. Characters make the story, right? That is what gets you emotionally invested. And what I love about what they showed is they showed so many scenes of just these characters talking with one another, just having conversations, getting to know each other, them going back and forth, them agreeing on things, them working as a team, then working alone. They showed so much of that relationship building. They showed so much of that group building. And when I just look at that concept, everybody above that age will die. You can use that concept, use relationship building to an incredible advantage to create something that gets you really emotionally invested and that just hits deep. Now, here's the thing. Because this story is super interesting and super complex, and they are focusing on this story, like they are marketing this story, they have to deliver on it. They have to deliver. The execution has to be there. I hope they have to execute. Now, I'm not saying this has to be the best story of all time. I'm not going in with that expectations, right? They don't have to execute one of the greatest stories of all time. But I don't want a story that just feels like it's in concept, but it's just lacking juice. It's lacking depth. It's lacking just flair and richness, right? I want a story that I feel has layers on layers. I want a story that I can be invested in from mission to mission. I don't want a story that has filler, that has things that's like, why am I doing this? Like, where are we going? Like, why are we here? Right? I want a story of like, oh man, we're going there now. Ooh, we're about to do that. Okay. Yeah, right. That's the thing. They just have to deliver on a good story, because if the story is not all that, I do think that is going to hurt this game a lot, because that is the biggest focus of this game, hands down. And that excites me personally, because I love stories in video games. I think they are the strongest component of video games. They're not the most important. Gameplay is the most important. At the very least, this game is going to be fun. It's going to be cool because of its a really cool gameplay format. But 9 out of 10 times, the aspect that pushes a game to considered one of the greatest games of all time is its story, right? So I'm really looking forward to this game. We've seen the music. It sounds beautiful. I actually really love the music that I've heard in this game. The piano, the strings, just sounds really, really great. We've seen a lot of the content and features the game is going to have. There's like a world map, like in between missions where you just like walk around this like world map, kind of like Dynasty Warriors, if you guys have played that recently. That's like a recent comparison I can make. Tiny Tina's Wonderland is kind of another comparison I can think of. But I really like that. Add a little bit of variety, get a little bit weird with it, right? There's some characters, they showed a lot of humor in this developer direct. They showed a lot of things, but then they also showed, what does progression look like? There's a lot of skill trees, a lot of abilities. There is a lot of stats. That is a big worry. I've actually seen a lot of people. If I could point out one criticism that most people have had about this game, it's that they showed a couple screens during that developer direct of just RPG stats galore, and everyone's like, okay, don't get us wrong. We love super deep and complex RPGs. But do you know how many RPGs try to do it? And a lot of those stats or a lot of those numbers is just complete garbage, right? And it's just complete filler, and it just overloads the game and makes it completely overwhelming, right? I hope that's not the case, because I mean, generally, I'm going to put up a picture on the right now. They literally just showed up a picture of a menu, and it just has like 100 different stats on it. And everyone's like, okay, that looks a bit messy. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, that is the one critique we have about this game. Everything else about this game, people have such high hopes for, such high praise, and such high just expectations, because it looks so cool, and it feels and it seems so cool. It just seems special. It seems special, and it seems like a passion project. It's just, this is a studio's first game. This is a new IP. This is something different. This is something that has now, unfortunately, whether we like it or not, because of the marketing from Xbox, because of the majority of the community's perception of this game does have high expectations, right? This isn't going to be a game where we could be like, oh yeah, I'm really excited for it, but I'm just going in like with like just low expectations, just like whatever expectations. No, unfortunately, let's live in the real world here, people. This game has high expectations now. People are talking about it on a daily basis. Every time this game is shown, it is being covered by multiple game journalists and multiple gaming insiders. This game has attention. This game has expectations now. So the question is, and it's been the question ever since this game's original announcement, can they execute on this awesome idea? And my goodness, I hope so, because it looks so good. It does come out April 24th, day one into Game Pass. Yeah, man, we're just gonna have to wait and see. But thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, definitely like, leave a comment section down below provided. What are your thoughts on Expedition 33? Do you think it's going to deliver? Let me know. Do you think it's gonna fail? I would love to talk about it. But thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Johnny Moore out. Peace.